Thank you for staying tuned to Udala Radio 4.7 FM. It's 17 minutes past 9 a.m. and we have once more congregated on this very platform to bring you issues around politics and governance in Nigeria. We are saying welcome to the Polity Tuesday edition of this 21st day of April 2026. And we are glad that you are there. Like, keep on saying that we are here because you are always there. It's like commensalism, I can't that's what we do on this platform. And we thank you once more for being there. My name is Franklin Nebuka. And this very morning, we are going to bring development in the polity, those things around governance, politics, and then some of the trending things in the country, because there is no day in the country that comes without some trending issues. And we are poised to always bring you all those things. Don't forget that this program comes to you live on our social media platforms. On our Facebook page, we are Udala Radio 104.7 FM. You can get there and get interactive. Don't forget, while posting your location and your name, they are quite important. At the same time, you can visit our YouTube channel, likewise on Instagram, to watch live what happens in the studio. Udala Radio, that's what we are on YouTube and Instagram. Don't forget that on YouTube you can push the notification button just to subscribe, so that whenever we post a video, you'll be able to get that. Maybe if you miss the program, once we post the video, you get notification and you can get to watch that and be abreast of development in the polity. Once more, thank you for joining us at this very hour. On the analysis desk is Tony Lisambeki. Good morning, Tony.
Good morning to you, Franklin Chukwebuka. Good morning, Nigerians. Good morning, the good people of Southeast. Good morning, the Anambra. Good morning, Indonesia. Donedu. Good morning, the Osumohu. Good morning, everyone. In the Afia, many of you are back, even when we decry the issue of sit-at-homes. But as those who are bent on implementing and enforcing their own sit-at-home, time shuttle. Welcome, Dolubo. The pensioners. Yesterday we witnessed what happened at Aso Villa, the gate where police pensioners were all out protesting against contributory pension scheme and other things they said. We welcome our senior citizens, those who are by now should be reaping the fruit of their labor. We welcome you. We also welcome our security agents and the agencies in charge of these agents, for those who are doing the good work, the good deed. And also we welcome everyone, our women, our mothers. Welcome artisans in Dolwaka, the physically challenged, those who have this ability, but sometimes limited by one thing or the other. We welcome all of you. We have congregated right here in our sanctuary to profess the truth, to do our evangelical work as always. And we are in the sanctuary of the Most High, the altar of the Most High, to profess the truth. I remember what Franklin said. Of course, when he was making his introduction, he did say something about commensalism. Immediately he made that very statement. My memory went code switching down to memory lane when we treated a particular topic. I think it was biology, association in nature, where we had different associations like symbiotic association, parasitic association, commensalism, the one he mentioned, predation, amensalism. There's another one called amensalism, because when you talk about commensalism, is a relationship between two organisms where one benefits, the other is unharmed. But the other does not benefit, but the other one is not in fact, it's not harmed, as against predation, where the two organisms, one is the other one. But amensalism is a situation where the other one that is not benefiting is also harmed, as against commensalism. Of course, we have so many of these associations in nature, even antibiotics and all that, even allopathy for plants. But that's by the way, that takes me back to memory lane. We thank God Almighty for His grace, for His love, for His provisions. We are happy. Every morning we wake up, it's a miracle. I've always said that. It's another miracle. Seeing Tuesday edition of this program, and today being the 21st day in the month of April, year 2026. 2026. We thank God Almighty. Sit back and enjoy the program as always. We are going to give you that very thing, the very best. Go nowhere.
Okay, so on program this very morning, we have a lot on the cards. Attorney had mentioned the protest which was backed upon by retired police officers. And if you looked at what happened yesterday, you saw how the serving ones were trying to, shield them for certain places. And I was looking at what could be future for these very people, because these people who are retired, they are asking that they should be removed from, contributory pension scheme. And those who are in the service, they are still on that very scheme. So I don't know if what happened to those who are protesting will happen to those who are still in service. That's the irony of the situation we have. So this very morning, you are going to see in the paper stories about Boko Haram, daring the federal government over 416 victims in Borno State, giving federal government 72 hours for them to respond to their negotiation or their demands, or else they are going to take those they are holding captive to a new location, and that might be the end of them. Also in the news, that is the bloodbath we had in Plateau, Benue and Kwara State, and that raises concern about how we have continued to have issues of insecurity killings here and there, despite assurances coming from the federal government. INEC is also in the news because yesterday INEC issued a press statement talking about the forensic audit that it did into the purported X account of INEC chairman George Amupiton. And according to INEC, their investigations have proven that the X account did not belong to INEC chairman. So INEC is in the news in that very area. Also, APC is in the news because yesterday the party released the timetable for its political activities ahead of 2027 election. And guess what? The party has pegged its nomination form for presidency for 100 million naira. I think this was mentioned initially, that should about a week or thereabout, and it was denied. But now it's been confirmed that if you're going to contest for the presidency under APC, you are going to part with a sum of 100 million naira. Also, Hakim Baba is in the news because he has said that Mr. President is disconnected from hardship facing Nigerians. And people are asking, is he actually disconnected, or he knows the sufferings but don't know what to do to alleviate the sufferings? And then 2027 elections is also in the news because in this very angle, it's coming from the angle of how National Assembly members are going about their businesses, whereby it seems like they have prioritized politics ahead of governance, because the issue of the sittings is now being called to question, because they are concerned that in 2026 they might not be able to sit for up to 181 days as required by the 1999 Constitution. So if that happens, would it be of any significance in terms of our Constitution and its legitimacy? So with these things we are going to see on the paper this very morning. Then if you want to follow other trends this very morning, other development, of course, yesterday Abilod was able to perfect his bail condition, and he's been released. And then the woman who raised concern about the longevity of a particular brand of bread, she was detained by the police until midnight yesterday, when Barrister Femi intervened and secured her release. And guess what? Our brother Peter Coyd of the P Square, he has this own November 18 as his birthday, which he shares with his twin brother. He's now saying that his birthday will now be on November 30th. I don't know what is happening, Tony. Interesting things we had this very morning.
Well, most times these people want to create headlines, and when they create headlines, you're going to have comments, you're going to have reactions, and you're going to have shares. And why these things are ongoing, money is actually going to their bank accounts. They're smiling to the banks. Yes, there are times, if there is no controversy, generate one. Or when Nigerians join them in this controversy, you think you are fighting a good battle. You don't even know that these people will be looking at you, laughing at anything possible. They will be laughing as if we are not serious in this country. Look at the problems we have in this country, myriads of problems. We have problem of electricity, we have energy crisis, many of us are buying petrol at a very exorbitant price. And one thing we should be considering about or be thinking about is how we can see to the end of the suffering. Not thinking about somebody who has changed his birthday. What's the big deal about that? If he likes, let him change it as much as he wants. If he likes, let him cancel birthday and say he has no birthday again. That is his business. Nigerians are easily distracted, and I cannot be distracted. We thought our own is merry-go-round. Anything becomes a topic. Even the bill Lord, very dark man, many of these, the two men, they are smiling to the banks. Of course, and many Nigerians are so much committed talking about their problem. Have you talked about your problem? How many people have discussed about your own problem? Don't you have problem? And you are so much concerned about talking about other people's problem.
Now, Tony, do you know what worries me?
Yeah.
What worries me is that that was yesterday night. I saw a post by this guy called Oklora.
Okay.
Asking youths, able-bodied men, to come to the airport for them to welcome Bilo to Anambra State. And I was asking myself, is that how lazy people have become that this is what they can preoccupy themselves with?
That is absolute madness. He can't try this in UK. People that should be at their workplace, people that should be productive at that time. During productive time, you're asking them to come and see somebody. That is madness. And for me, the young man himself, of course, he has done a good work in some aspect, but he's also cashing in. Yes. He is also cashing in. Of course, he is trying to promote his own brand. But the truth remains that don't deceive people. He has, of course, been of help to so many people, so many souls, and people have been contributing. Of course, that ministry alone, he should mind that ministry. What is about the whole thing we are hearing? What is all about? Madness. Madness.
Is it sometimes I look at the youth and I get worried about the things that we have made priority, things that do not matter, that ordinarily nobody should be talking about, nobody should be, responding for that kind of call. I'm just wondering how somebody would just wake up this very morning, Saharo, Sikiaja Airport, Jana Batonya, Wanayana Benambra for what?
I don't understand.
It's quite madness.
So very, that's just like so very embarrassed.
All right, so we're going to go to the headlines this very morning, but before then, there's also a story making round within Anambra spheres, whereby we have seen Ndigwe being reported that he's daring the government of Anambra State because he has announced Imwaka Festival date as monarch for. Okay, if we have time, we can look at that. But now we have to tell you the headlines we have today on the papers.
You're listening to The Polity. Get involved now.
Okay, so you are listening to The Polity on Udala Radio 104.7 FM. It's 9:30 a.m. My name is Franklin Ebukatu. Sambeki is on the analysis desk, and we have to bring you the headlines on these very papers. 4 of them. And we begin with the headlines we have on The Guardian. The big story there is on page 6. It says 2027 elections, politics overshadows governance as NAS observe 93-day recess in 2026. Another headline says party leaders intensify contingency moves as ADC denies PRP talks. That story is on page 6. I don't know if ADC members are thinking of alternative as it stands now, perhaps if they are caught up in this very logjam between them and the INEC. Another story says police pensioners take welfare protest to Presidential Villa on page 4 of The Guardian. NBC's directive to broadcasters erode press freedom, independence, says NUJ on page 4. A midnight fire raises therapy building at Yaba Neuropsychiatric Hospital on page 8 of the Guardian newspaper. Under headline that say bandits kill 4 soldiers, vigilante in Kwara on page 25. Alleged 8.7 billion naira fraud. Court admits 9 exhibits against Malami, wife's son on page 28 of the Guardian newspaper. This one says Daniel versus Abiodun plot for Gun East Senatorial District ticket thickens. Okay, we have to retake this. Daniel versus Abiodun plot for Gun East Senatorial District ticket thickens on page 5. I heard that some stakeholders had a meeting in that very state. That was yesterday, and they locked out Daniel. During that very meeting, they endorsed Abiodun for him to go for the Senate. From being a governor, he now moved to Senate. Whether that is a retirement plan or not, we do not know. But this is the trend we have been seeing among politicians. Other headlines we have on The Guardian: CDS charges troops to crush bandits, keep Nigeria safe at all cost. On page 3, INEC says fake X account was used to frame chairman as ADC youth protest. On page 3, PDP INEC adopts 2027 election timetable, declares end to crisis. The story is on page 3. And yesterday I had the likes of Mahub Uhuabunwa, the Factional Beauty chairman, and the FCT minister, Yeson Wike, saying that those who are aggrieved can now come back to the party, that they've been able to stabilize the party. They should come back and they'll be loyal, that they are going to get all the benefits due to them. Okay, so over to the Guardian newspaper, or rather, to the Vanguard newspaper now. The big story there says insecurity, many terrorists, 3 soldiers killed in Kwara gun battle. You can see that big story on page 5 of Vanguard. Then the picture story there says Sonolu at Commonwealth Trade and Investment Summit. You can see him alongside some white men on that picture story. Above the nameplate, we have 4 headlines there. First one says NCC CBN launch portal to track fraudulent phone lines. On page 19. Would they implement that or just add it to the retinue of policies we have that never saw the light of the day when it comes to implementation? Tinubu disconnected from hardship facing Nigerians. Hakim Baba Ahmed. We know Hakim, the brother to the running mate to Peter B in 2023. He once served as a presidential aide before he resigned, saying that he couldn't stomach anymore what was happening in the presidency. 2027, no talks with PRP yet. We are focused on court case, ADC says. That story can be found on page 8 of Vanguard newspaper. Stop running to Abuja. Governors can fix insecurity. Ex-CP Owosheni. On page 14, I think he was one-time CP in Lagos State and now serving as a security advisor in one of the southwestern states. He's saying governors can fix insecurity if they want to do that it needs only will for them to do it. Alleged money laundering, court admits more exhibits against ex-AGF Malami, son wife. On page 6. That story here says police pensioners protest in Abuja, block Villa access road. On page 9. 2027 APC packs presidential form at 100 million naira. Primary holds May 15. On page 35. Senate seat, Ogun East APC leaders endorse Abiodun Bad Daniel. That story is on page 10 of the Vanguard newspaper. We cross over to the Daily Sun. The story beside the nameplate says Boko Haram dares FG over 416 victims in Borno. Kaduna Easter Day attack, kidnappers demand 1 billion naira ransom. That story is on pages 4 and 5 of Daily Sun newspaper. State debt hits 4.36 trillion naira. 10 lead with 2.96 trillion naira. On page 25, page 25 of Daily Sun. Bloodbath in Plateau, Benue, Kwara states. On pages 4 and 5. The riders say soldiers, others killed, injured in fresh attacks. Women protest in Rayon community. CDS visit troops, pledges renewed effort against banditry in Zamfara. Gunmen kill driver, abduct passengers in Orebini Expressway. You can also see the picture story of Sonwolu at that very Commonwealth event alongside 3 other persons on the front page of Daily Sun newspaper. Then the picture story 2 on the other side is the picture story of the Wiki-led PDP meeting they had yesterday at the PDP secretariat, which has been open to them. You can see Wiki see Asemelanya Co. You are an umpire, not hired hitman. ADC youth tell Amopito. A party denies talks with PRP, a friend's commitment to legal battle. On page 5. Refinancing risk. Refinancing risk rise as Nigeria's debt nears 180 trillion naira. On page 24. Enugu women demand senatorial slot. On page 29. INEC chairman unveils a report of forensic investigation on partisan ex-post. That story is on page 8 of Daily Sun newspaper. And the last paper we have this very morning is The Punch. And the headlines are there. Fresh turmoil in PDP as Wike camp rolls out primaries plan. On page 2, APC imposes 2-week deadline for presidential governorship NAS forms. On page 2, the writers say APC releases timetable, fixes presidential primary for May 16th, governor primary May 23. A ruling party sells presidential form 100 million naira, governorship aspirant to pay 50 million naira, Senate 20 million, reps 10 million, State Assembly 6 million. Female youth physically challenged aspirant get 50% rebate on nomination forms. The headline says Daniel shot out as Ogun APC endorses a building for Senate. On page 7. Over 4,600 Nigerian doctors relocate to UK in 3 years. Report on page 14. They say this happened under the government of President President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But as it stands now, that Nigeria has about 15,600 medical doctors who are Nigerians practicing in the UK, and from the records available, Nigeria contributes to the highest number across the world. After Nigeria, that should be India. Talking about the number of foreign nationals who are practicing medicine in the UK. This story on page 7 says Obi Kwankwaso launch joint movement before ADC primaries. That story is on page 7. The Obi Kwankwaso alliance is thickening more. It appears that this could be the line they are going, and if that is the case, maybe it could be Atiku Rotimi Amechi. And if that becomes the case, will ADC be able to foster this consensus they are talking about, whereby at the end of the primary they'll be able to have this formidable force, united family, to be able to challenge the incumbent. These are the headlines we have this very morning on the front pages of these newspapers. So next will be for us to bring you the analysis. So we ask you to stay with us.
You're listening to The Polity. Get involved now. You're listening to The Polity. Get involved now.
Okay, you are listening to The Polity on Udala Radio 104.7 FM. My name is Franklin Nebuchadnezzar. It's now 20 minutes to 10 a.m. Otherwise 9:40 this very morning. So we begin with the story regarding what we saw yesterday, a video we watched yesterday coming from Boko Haram. And headline says Boko Haram Des FG issues ultimatum on 416 captives in Borno State. If you go through the story, you see that tension actually sparked in Borno State yesterday after Boko Haram terrorists released a chilling video. In that very video, the group gave the federal government 72-hour ultimatum to meet their demands or lose 416 captives forever. If you look at that video that surfaced in the early hours of Monday, it shows the terrorists claiming that they are battle ready. In fact, they spoke in Hausa language with English subtitles, and the group spokesperson identified them, as members of Jamatu Ali Sunnah Ladawati Wal Jihad, under the command of one Iman Abu. Now look at what they said. They said that their message is serving as a final warning to the federal government before the victims, including women and children, are moved to unknown locations. Tony, Boko Haram again releasing a video there in the federal government. I don't know the last time we saw the video where Boko Haram was bold enough to say, meet our demands or risk losing these very people. And we're just wondering what is giving them this impetus to dare the government in this very manner.
Why they are daring the government is because they have been treated with kid's glove. If you are being treated with kid's glove, if somebody can imagine your capacity and what you can do and what you cannot do, they can send videos like this and dare the government, because I'm beating the people involved as far as that is concerned. I looked at the video, I watched the video. Of course, they showed a video of about 416 abducted women and children from Ngoche community in Buza local government area of Borno State, given 72 hours, that's about 3 days or thereabouts, that if there is any rescue attempts by government, that they will be met with fire. Does it mean we have another government in this country? Because that's what it looked like. It's being portrayed. Do we have another government? I have always believed this statement that in check on a chairs no better mirror. That's the belief I've always had. But this one seems to be out of that contextual maxim. But, well, it reminds us of the different kidnappings we've had in the past. You remember the Chibok girls kidnapped, about 276 were abducted in 2014. Then in 2018, Dapchi school girls, and multiple Boko Haram kidnappings and rapes. Well, there have been also little rescue operations that have been successful. The last time, was it this week or last week, we were talking about the particular market that was bombed in Borno State, where some civilians were killed as well. And we are bemoaning the civilian casualties. And I said, because they were warned and these people keep interacting with Boko Haram terrorists, and if they continue to be in communion with them, it means that they are part of this whole game. Nevertheless, Boko Haram is an enterprise. It's better that they go and get incorporated. For me, Boko Haram is Boko Haram Limited. That's what it is. It's a business. And there are those in government who are part of this business. And from the look of things, if we continue the way we are going, we are not going to get out of this. Because if you go out of this, it becomes end of business, closing shop for some people. For them to release this video, there are those in government that also mandated them to release this video since ransom payment hasn't been coming. Make this video and see if there will be money. And once this money is released, of course, they're going to have their court, their own share. They will acquire more ammunition. And they have killed our soldiers. They have killed our generals. They have killed our officers and men in uniform. They have killed many. And we've been treating them with kids glove. Every year we keep budgeting high amount of money for defense. But we are not seeing the results. We are not seeing the result. When we mean result, we would want situation where the scale of this madness will be lowered, where it will be felt. Apart the other day saying that why things like this usually come up during election or before election is because of election. As if we've not had different incidents of kidnappings even outside the election cycle. How is this related to election? The point is we have not been able to deal with insecurity decisively. And I have made proposal. What is holding our state police from implementation? Just as I said the other time, when the Inspector General of Police instituted or constituted whatever committee he called it, for them to roll out some kind of schemes for transition, I said he has no such powers. Nobody mandated him to make such constitution of such committee. Face your duty. You don't just take over the duties of the National Assembly. They are the people that have to come up with a framework. And if they invite you to give your expert input, you're going to do that. Not taking such role and position uninvited. There are a lot of things that are going wrong in this country, I must tell you. Now, if we had done something in that area, at least the space is ungoverned for these bastards will be well checkmated. They have a lot of fields. As we speak now, have we been able to reclaim Sambisa forest from them? And we have talked about investing in technology. Yes, we have always advocated for kinetic and non-kinetic approaches. When you talk about kinetic approach, military operations. When you talk about non-kinetic approach, trying to see why these people get into these things and ways to block them, redirect their pathways, engage them with something productive. That's the non-kinetic aspect. How far have we been faring in these two areas? Let me say this. The northern part of the country is impoverished. underdeveloped, bucolic, rustic. And when you go there, you find out that you are just there with little or no opportunity. And we've seen situations where government must control births in this country. Why would a man who has no means of livelihood marry 4 wives with almost 30-something children? Many he cannot train. There should be a legislation in this country. You cannot have children outside their means. China did it. And many countries, they have a way of controlling some of these issues. Look at our population growing in a geometric proportion. And we are looking at our aggregate productivity declining. What kind of future are we looking at? We must come up with strong legislation. Religion should go and take a back seat now, because it has been one of the reasons we have been where we are. See, the point I'm trying to make is there are a lot of things we need to reform, restructure, put in perspective. Issue of marriage, childbearing, especially in the northern part of the country, must be looked into.
Okay, Tony, like I said earlier, that it's been a long time that we heard, Boko Haram releasing a video in this kind of magnitude. It's been quite a while, but now we're having this, and people are wondering, is there more to this? Is it like a sign or a signal that these guys are in need of money? If you look at their demands, they are asking the federal government should pay 5 billion naira. That is the demand. They should pay 5 billion naira for the release of these very persons, or they are going to locate them, and it might be the end for these very people. And they're giving government 72 hours to meet their demands, or they are going to go ahead and carry out their threat. Now, you look at this too, because I want us to also go deep into this. From what we gathered, this very group was able to release the video through a channel of communication that they've been able to identify, or they have been able to establish. I'm talking about the Bronu South Youth Alliance. They know it as a boss here. And the person who has been that very channel is one Samaila Kaigama, who happens to be the president of this very group. It was through him that the Boko Haram was able to bring this very video to the knowledge of everybody and the government. Now, what we're looking at is there a way that government is not leaving anything to chance? How do I mean? Trying to be holistic in trying to, establish what is actually happening. Take, for instance, these people, they have a platform or a channel through which they communicate. These very people might just be negotiator, it might just be intermediary who do not have any interest. But in the midst of all these things, and looking at the magnitude of challenge we have, would it be right for government to begin to have like a second thought around all those channels of communication through which these people communicate? Perhaps come close to know what they know about this whole thing.
I've talked about the issue of communication, that no matter how you look at it, because if you look at their modes of communication, they, of course, use walkie-talkie and also use internet facilitated communications, because internet facilitated communications, most times you cannot trace internet communicated or facilitated communications. There were times things like this happened in Zamfara State, and I remember the government shutting down internet services within Zamfara State. But did it yield anything? It did not. Apart from the issue of communication, it is here in Nigeria that we speak with our both mouths. The CDS, of course, the Minister of Defense, the time he was screened or was being screened when he was nominated as a minister, he did emphasize that there should be zero tolerance for ransom payment. He made that very statement orally. I was thinking that the National Assembly will have to make legislation on that and provide stringent conditions for ransom, which would also lead to apprehending of these people, or that will lead to the arrest, to their yes. But we've not seen any statute, any code or act to that effect. If you go to Niger Republic, I'm aware that the government of Niger Republic has officially maintained a no ransom stance towards jihadist groups, including Boko Haram and ISWAP. I think what they have been doing is this. Look at what Niger Republic seems to be doing. Because Niger Republic have also been arresting their kingpins. When they abduct Nigerians, they do swap as against payment. And the most aware that Chad, these are neighbors. Unfortunately, these are kind of neighbors we have. I thought that we have neighbors like Zimbabwe, South Africa, Rwanda, good neighbors, or even Ghana. But look at the kind of neighbors we have. Chad, Niger. But that's by the way anyway. But I'm aware that Chad has also publicly rejected paying ransom. They said that their own is purely military approach, nothing like ransom. Those abducted, in attempt to rescue them, if they perish, they perish. But there will be attempt to rescue them.
So Tony, what is the morality in insurgents or terrorists having intermediaries? We know it's not peculiar to Nigeria. Globally, we have seen that happen. But what is the morality of having an intermediary between, like, government or the people and terrorists? And this person, these intermediaries, they act as a connection between these two sides, whereby this side communicates, and the intermediary passes the message to the person being communicated to. So, what is that thing? Do they have protection? Can they be questioned to know more if they are in one way or the other involved in insurgency?
Well, you just say that intermediaries, what we call them is agents. I don't like the word intermediaries. They have agents. Those who facilitate negotiation or communication. Let's be real. Their roles, getting them arrested, and at times profiling them and know why they are doing this. You cannot be agents of these criminals without government giving you license. Who commissioned you to be agents to start with? Is it a case where anybody can do whatever he likes to do in this country? When I say Boko Haram is limited liability, why they are limited liability? Because there are so many countries they cannot operate and get away with this. They can only do this in Nigeria majorly. I can't remember many times these countries have mentioned pay them ransom, because we are in habit of paying ransom. Even when we speak the other time that's nothing like ransom, we must abolish it. Well, for me, those who are facilitating financial move, because these agents, what they usually do, they facilitate communications through informal systems and payments as well. Any agent of Boko Haram is also a member of Boko Haram. For me, government should have no space for agents. Government should have no space for agents. What for? Because the agent will get his own court. That's the business for doing the work. In fact, agent, most times when there is no business, agent will tell them where to go and make abductions so that he comes back and begin his business. Because once ransoms are paid, he gets his own share. You are not ending the problem. Zero tolerance to any form of agent. Whoever that speaks for them should be in custody, likes of Gumi. What for? Government should maintain zero stance to terrorism, zero stance to insurgency. Like the Chadian Republic, once there is abduction, they will go all out for rescue. In the process, if those that are trying to rescue perish, so be it. But the most important thing is that they will give these people a hot chase. By the time they know that government doesn't pay ransom, the abduction becomes irrelevant for ransom, because that's what they use it for.
All right.
We should stop this madness in this country.
Okay, so while we're talking about Boko Haram, the federal government, demanding that government meets their demand, or the people they have in custody, 416 of them are going to disappear. We also know that yesterday there were reports about bloodbath in Plateau, Benue, and Kwara State, and that is a raising question about our commitment to actually ensuring that people who have been who have been battered by these very cruel insurgents, if they are protected. I know each time they have incidents, governments, whether at state level or federal government level, they get there, make promises, we're going to protect you, but if any ben can I bepa. Okay, so we'll go for commercial break now. Once we return, we get to turn our attention to another thing on the news this very morning. Stay with us.
You're listening to The Polity. Get involved now.
We are Udala Radio. Udala Radio 104.7 FM.
When you think of roofing, think of strength. When you think of durability, think of beauty. And when you think of all three combined, think Best Aluminium MFG Limited. At Best Aluminium, we don't just manufacture roofing sheets. We create protection, comfort, and style for your home and business. Whether you're building from scratch or repairing an old roof, we have exactly what you need. Our products include stone-coated roofing sheets, aluminum roofing sheets, and colored roofing sheets. But that's not all. We also offer residential and commercial roofing services, roof repairs, gutters, emergency roofing services, and even durable cookwares that bring quality to your kitchen. Visit us today at 30/32 Anyika Street, Awada Obosi, Anambra State, or call us right now on 0806 416 2374 or 0706 059 6203. Are you smart, confident, and ready to earn big? Do you have a passion for sales and marketing? Then listen up. Udala Radio 104.7 FM is calling on ambitious, result-driven individuals to join our team as marketers. No limits, no boundaries, just results and rewards. Work at your own pace, meet amazing clients, and grow your income. Sell it, share it, earn your way. Join Udala Radio and start today. Interested? Visit our station today at number 5 Okono Street, Onitsha, or call 0803 350 4206 or send your CV to udalaradio@gmail.com. Don't wait. Your success story starts here. Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Seriously authentic.
You're listening to Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Seriously authentic.
You're listening to The Polity. Get involved now.
Okay, so it's 10 a.m. this very morning, and you are listening to Dala Radio 104.7 FM. This is The Polity. My name is Franklin Ebukatuno Lisambeki, is on the analysis desk, and we have to leave that very matter concerning the insecurity situation we have in the country for us to look at the National Assembly and the concerns people have been raising about how they see it, and it's becoming like an abdication of the primary responsibility of being a National Assembly. We know that the National Assembly has been on recess, and they are set to resume plenary today after the Easter break. And while lawmakers are trying to return for legislative activities, we have seen them having different or series of adjournment and postponement. And the concern is that it's beginning to limit the number of days they sit, and there is that is very concerned that it's affecting what the or rather it's affecting their productivity, and perhaps could lead to a breach of the 1999 Constitution. Now, Tony, from this very story is saying that in 2026, that the National Assembly has only sat for 17 days. That's in the first quarter of 2026. This is 3 months. The National Assembly has sat for just 17 days, and there are concerns that this could create a direct clash between legislative duties, and the full-scale electioneering ahead of 2027. It's no longer news that 2026 is electioneering year, and the preparations for general election, all of them are going to be made this very year. And in one way or the other, the National Assembly sittings are going to be affected, because by the time the parties begin their primary elections and what have you not, they are still going to undertake another recess for them to go for their primaries and others. Now, there was a data which was obtained from the Policy and Legal Advocacy Center plaque. This very data is showing that since inauguration on June 13, 2023, the 10th National Assembly has spent 581 out of 1,003 days on recess. And what that means is that these lawmakers have only sat for 422 days. If you are going to go deeper, you also see what plaque is saying. In fact, by the way, plaque is an independent, non-profit, non-partisan CSO that works to strengthen democratic governance and promote citizens' participation and engagement with public institutions in Nigeria. Anything about National Assembly, they have that very information. So plaque is saying that from their records, they have seen a whole lot leading up to this very April 21 resumption by the National Assembly. And they are saying that it means like for over years now, we have been having pattern of disrupted sittings. And they are asking questions, none about getting why, at this point, we need to be asking questions if the National Assembly is actually doing what they are supposed to do. So, Tony, this is very concerned. Jermaine and Janine.
Well, if you talk about National Assembly, of course, we know very well that many people have called for part-time National Assembly or lawmaking in Nigeria, being that they don't utilize much of the time. They use the other time to sing praises, and many people have not been able to distinguish or extricate, or more like separate National Assembly from the executive arm of government. There are those who believe that it is an kind of offshoot of the executive arm, that they are one and the same. But we know very well that we don't have separation of powers in this country as a result of institutional damages we have witnessed, which have always bemoaned. Just as whatever happened in this country is as a result of bad institutions. Even when we talk about insecurity, you can also link it to bad institutions, not strengthening institutions. These things are causing havoc and chaos in our country. Coming back to the issue of National Assembly and their holidays or recess, whatever you like, you can call it. Whenever they are not on sitting for one reason or the other, is their recess. They usually have, the ones I know, they have usually Christmas and New Year recess, which usually take place around mid-December. And then they come back late January, mostly by, I think it's about 4 to 6 weeks. Between 4 to 6 weeks, depending on the issues before them. And they also have Easter recess. They usually have Easter recess, which usually is about 2 weeks. And they have annual recess, which is more like their vacation period. Of course, judges or those in the judiciary do have their recess. That one is usually a very long one. Usually, it comes around late July. And they come back around late September or middle September. That one takes about between 8 to 10 weeks. Their annual recess. They also have short adjournments we've seen most times. Intermittent adjournments. I think that's the one that has put the figure you put it. So that's very level. But I must be honest with you. If you look at the estimated recess time yearly in our National Assembly, takes between average of 3 to 4 months. But this one, as you mentioned, is going straight to 4, maybe, depending on the period we started counting. I have said it many times that our National Assembly, they are not making enough laws, even when we know we don't have institutions for the implementation of those laws. But there are those who would also want to take it up and make a case out of it. Do you know immediately after 9/11, I remember that period when there was this 9/11 attack in the United States of America. That was in 2001. I was in UNN that very day, and I was taking lectures on a particular thing. All of a sudden, the lecturer said the US is under attack. And that's what the lecturer said. And because then there was limited phone conversation. What we have now, you cannot imagine what we had then. Things were immediately everybody moved back. And well, I remember I rushed down to Enin Joko Hall, and behold, we went straight to the lounge and we were watching CNN broadcast, and we saw a caption, US under attack. But the point I'm trying to make out of this is, immediately after that 9/11 attack, US passed a lot of laws to strengthen their national security. I know about their surveillance law. There is a particular law on surveillance, how surveillance should be conducted, and those who do not do what is expected of them while on that surveillance, their punishment. There is also a law on intelligence gathering. These laws came as a result of that 9/11 attack. In fact, it was immediately after that 9/11 attack, Homeland Security Act was created. That is the Department of Homeland Security. Immediately after that 9/11, there was also coordinated national security efforts. Immediately after that 9/11, Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act was passed. I'm telling you, a country serious, committed, determined to protecting its citizens. I'm telling you, the kind of laws they passed immediately after that attack. The idea is to prevent such to happen again, to strengthen institutions with capacity and funding as well. I'm telling you, do you know that immediately after that, even the surveillance of foreign threats is a standalone law? These things were created. Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, which governs the surveillance of foreign threats and other things thereafter. And then if you look around, even anti-terrorism and the Effective Death Penalty Act, these things were created from time to time. Now, also, even the National Defense Authorization Act was also created. I'm trying to remember as many as these, because these lawmakers in US were busy with their work. It's a full-time job. Now, let me ask you, all this period Boko Haram has been causing menace, wanting deaths and killings, I want to ask you, how many laws have we passed? I know very well implementation is going to be a problem, but the idea is to see if we can strengthen institutions. Somebody can sue, take to court, even when we don't have faith in our judiciary.
So
it tells you that these people are just holidaying.
For what you're saying, that means that the National Assembly is not in any way justifying the huge amount of money.
No. That's the point I'm trying to.
The Nigerian government has been spending on them.
They are holidaying.
If that is the case,
they're holidaying.
If that is the case, one will wonder what we can possibly do, because I looked at the figures. I mentioned that in the 1999 Constitution, it required that National Assembly should sit at least 181 days in a year. That's what the law says.
Yeah.
That simply means that if they fail to do that, it's a breach of 1999 Constitution, which is a great offense in any country where the law works. And I look at the concern people are having, that in the first quarter of 2026, these people have sat for only 17 days out of 90 days that had elapsed. And they are going to resume today. When they resume today, they will sit, and by the time the parties begin primary election, of course, they will still go for another recess. If you look at the window for primaries, it's from April 23rd till I think May 30th. So these guys can as well still go for another recess for them to be able to participate in the primaries of their various political parties. And the concern now is that these people might not be able to meet that very 181 days constitutional threshold. If that becomes the case, what is the fate of this National Assembly, Tony?
Well, it is what it is. I've said it many times. They are holidaying. Of course, they are not serious with their job. I've not seen that commitment. I've not seen that attitude to change the narratives. If I tell you that they will copy it from US. Ordinarily, this would have been a part-time job, but we copied from US. Why US is a full-time job? Because they produce thousands of laws from time to time. Do you know if there is any form of explosion, the US will look at their laws and even possibly create a new one. We have had tanker explosions, we have had bad infrastructure, so many things we've had in this country. What laws are these people making to put things in order? But the truth remains that they have not been able to justify their payment. Yes, they have not. Because I know very well that since what they call it, overhead cost for a senator, last we checked, according to a senator from Kano State. I don't know if that senator has defected to APC now, but he was once in NNPP. He told us that their overhead cost was around 20 million per month. That caters for their movement, logistics, their office, the operation, and other things outside their allowances and then salary. But if you look at what they are being given, it tells you that they have not been able to justify that. Seriously speaking, if you look at Nigerian senator, a Nigerian senator have done a holistic study about their pay. If you put it rough estimate, they go home with about $350,000 per year. That's Nigerian senator. But a US senator goes home with about $174,000 per year. Do you see the difference? Rough estimate. A US senator goes home with about $174,000 per year. But Nigerian senator goes home with about $350,000 per year. What that means that they are more paid for holidaying, for one day, than the US senators who are more committed to national development, national growth, and also national defense. Now I begin to prioritize national security. For me, before now, some years back, I would tell you rule of law supersedes national security. But I have shifted ground because of the level of killings we have in this country. Now I've of the view that national security, even the state security, overrides even the rule of law we are talking about. That's my stance now. Because we cannot keep dying. Is it not somebody who is alive that will be talking about rule of law? That is where I stand. That's why if I see a state government...
If you're saying national security overrides rule of law...
That's my belief.
But in that very case, don't you think that abuse becomes inevitable?
Minus abuse. Please, take off abuse. I will not subscribe to any form of abuse. Please, I will not. If you miss it with abuse, please count me out. I am talking about without abuse. Because my own is to ensure that our people are protected. Because there are times you may want to get something done or protect a set of people. There are protocols, there are rules. You may breach the rule and get them protected. That's the area I'm coming from.
So Tony, since that the way National Assembly is composed, if they fail to meet up with this very constitutional threshold, perhaps there's nobody to supervise them or oversight on them. There's nobody to tell them you have breached this and this is the consequences. I'm just wondering, the kind of quagmire we are in, if the National Assembly breaches the Constitution and there's nobody to oversight or make them to see what they have done. Because if you look at the way we are now, we have spent some days out of the 365 we have in 2026. By the time the lawmakers return today, they will have about 245 days or 44 days for the year to end. And out of these 200 and something days, they are required to sit for at least 164 days for them to be able to meet up with that very 181 threshold in the 1999 Constitution. And being that this is electioneering year, it's looking as if it's going to be impossible for them to be able to meet up with this. But look at where that concern is coming from. The essence of recess, which is embedded in the system, is that recess will enable them to do other legislative work, go for oversight, go to their constituency, to see their constituencies, their constituents, and do other things that ordinarily, if they are sitting, they will not be able to do. But what we have seen is that when they go for this recess, it becomes a holiday, even for them to travel and go for other activities.
I told you earlier on, they do all one bear. Many of them junkate around the world. They move around with different women. You see them flying private jets. There was a time when Shomole was spotted with, I don't know whether it was AI. They said it was AI.
He said it was AI.
That's what they said. But he was spotted according to the AI. Let's use the AI now. According to the AI.
And the person he was involved in said it wasn't AI.
The person said it wasn't AI. In fact, the person posted it on her TikTok handle. And many people saw it from her, because the person is a model known by many people. But Oshomole told us it's AI. We are our own senator, AI generated anyway, was massaging a female lady's feet, the 2 feet, of course. We are talking about the feet, both legs. That's what I mean. Now, that's our own way of doing the national assignments. I remember, in fact, most times some of these things we are seeing, Franklin, I must let you know that these things we are seen by even likes of Fela and many who wrote a lot of books, even Chino Achebe of blessed memory. When he wrote Trouble with Nigeria, I think he wrote that book, was it 1982 or thereabouts? The point I'm trying to make is we've seen this most times. I remember the poem we read when we were in secondary school. It was, I think, one of the poems, I think, Building the Nation. It tells you how people who are given a public assignment, how they go all about that assignment. I must let you know. And the driver was saying quite a lot of things in that very poem, because how he drove the master to where they were to have a meeting. The meeting was tagged state meeting, but it turned out to be all one bear. I think it was written by Henry Barlow from Uganda. Yes, Building the Nation by Henry Barlow. I remember now. It was a satire anyway, because Henry Barlow used satire to criticize corruption, hypocrisy of leaders, the driver, that's the common man, and the permanent secretary, the elite. I think that the driver was taking the permanent secretary to where it was supposed to be a meeting, but it happened to be a luncheon. I remember this to tell you that it's just everywhere. The point I'm trying to make. Nobody's going to challenge them. Who is going to take National Assembly to court that they have not met the constitutional threshold of sittings? Who is going to do that? The executive? The judiciary? And when an ordinary man takes this case to court, it will be struck out for lack of what? Locus. You'll be told you have no locus. Are you a member of National Assembly? Even when we know that the budget for National Assembly, I think, is about over 200 billion, or I think it's even more than. That's what we budget yearly for National Assembly. And for what purpose? For all these things we are seeing. We have electricity crisis. Tell me how many laws National Assembly have passed to put on hold the incessant and frequent problems we have been having in electricity. We have got so many national problems. How many? The idea is to do your own, even if it's not implemented.
Okay, so let's go to the APC that has released its timetable and schedule of activities for 2027 general election, and it has fixed a date for its primary election, and that should be May 15 to 16, 2026. As we know that the party is working towards adopting Mr. President as the sole candidate for this very election. As we speak now, no other person has declared interest to contest for that very seat. But the party has said that the APC nomination form is pegged at 100 million naira. That is comprising the form for you to express your interest, and then nomination form. One is for 70 million and the other is for 30 million. If you look at other breakdowns, anybody going to contest for governorship is also going to part with a huge sum of money. I think what's it called again? For the For governorship, it's about 50 million, 10 million for interest, and then 40 for nomination. If you look at those who are going for Senate, I think that should be 20 million and thereabout. But Tony, let's look at this whole thing, because about a month ago or thereabout, it's not 1 month that there was initial report that APC is going to charge 100 million for that, and the party denied it. But now the party has confirmed that to be true. But where the issue lies is these exorbitant rate of party nomination forms. Is it helping our democracy? Because parties will tell you that why they are doing this is when they are doing this because if they bring it lower, it becomes an affair for everybody. But when they raise it up, then people can be on its own. It has a way of separating the chaff from the corn. But how is this positioning our democracy in Nigeria?
It is not positioning our democracy in a well expected way. It is actually monetizing our democracy. That's democracy being monetized. That is commerciality. We are commercializing our democracy. Nomination form, 100 million. How much is your minimum wage? I understand that if you do not raise it, it becomes a face for everybody. So what happens to your screening methods? Because the law for the last we checked has given you power about your nominations. You can screen. Of course, you don't need to have money for you to run for election in this country. Most countries have seen you don't need to have money. That's why there is always fundraising, crowdfunding. You don't need to have money. All you need to have in most countries, integrity, popularity, good intention, well articulated manifestos, understanding the current problems in the country, the imbroglios, the dilemmas, and how you can solve it. Sell that thing to the people. What do you mean by becomes everybody's affairs? It should be everybody's affairs. It should be. You don't need to have, because here in Nigeria, that's where people use stolen money to prosecute election. Those in office use public funds to prosecute election. We should abolish that. National Assembly should make laws to abolish using public funds. Do we have any laws on that? Apart from the general fact we have anti-crime or anti-financial laws. No. You must have a standalone law or act tailored towards a particular thing, even though there are other laws that can be used to prosecute the person. No, we are talking about standard, because that's to tell you how frequent that very problem is. Every election must be crowdfunded, and there should be a body or agency profiling sources of these funds, because it's believed that elections in Nigeria cannot be founded from outside the country. No countries allow that.
Now, how many people who have genuine care for the people, who are actually altruistic and they want to deliver for the country, how many of them will be able to afford this 100 million naira to be able to vie for the presidency?
It's a problem. That's why I'm saying that we have monetized elections, campaigns, context for public offices. We have monetized it in this country. We have commercialized them. And people of goodwill, they have taken back seats. Crooks, criminals, they have taken the front seats because they have the money, stolen wealth to run for offices, where they go into these offices with a mission, not just to recover the monies, but at the same time to add to the ones they have. Is a problem. Do we have laws to correct these anomalies, even when we know that implementation will be a problem? Do we have it in the first instance? We don't.
Now,
do you know elections?
If you're asking whether we have laws,
standalone laws
is it not part of internal affairs of the party? Can there be a law that will mandate parties that they cannot exceed a certain amount of money when it comes to party nomination forms?
It should not be a party thing. Do you know that? Let's go back to where we copy the democracy from. You know why I keep going back to US? That's where we copied everything. We copied even part of their constitution, copied everything, their system, their models. But the good ones we discarded and then copied the ones that will favor us. The point I'm trying to make is this. Do you know different laws we have in US for campaigns, funding, nominations? Not a party thing. Do you know? People don't even understand that in US there is limit to what an individual can give you. There is limit to what an organization can give you. And you don't spend the money yourself. There is a body that help you spend that money. You don't have control of the money given to you. Because there are those that will use it for business. Chowore has been called out that each time for election he runs for presidency, he will do crowdfunding, fundraising. People will raise money, give him money. He won't make a good outing. He will pocket the money. Next year he comes back. It becomes a business. In US, money donated for you, you don't have control over it. You will see it, know the amounts, but you don't have control over it when it comes to spending it. This to tell you that it's not going to be a business for those that think that they will rush out to run for office of the president, not to win, but to raise fund, to do crowdfunding, to pocket it themselves and use it for other things. That is why US, they have seen most of the things we are seeing. They said you cannot be in control of that money. You can't have the money. There is a body. And there is campaign spending limits. These things are tracked.
This you're talking about now. Maybe the difference between Nigeria and the US is the fact that in our own case it's not tracked, but in the case of US it is tracked because if you look at the Electoral Act of even this 2026, everything is well spelled out there. But the fact is that nobody even gets to track all these things to know whether people are spending more than the ceiling or not. But when it comes to that nomination form, I do not think that the US has any law that tells parties you cannot charge more than a certain amount of money on nomination forms. I do not know. I do not think that there's any law like that in the USA. But on the other hand, too, that does not in any way justify what we have seen to become the practice among political parties, whereby they pay this very money at a very high rate, whereby that people who have that genuine reason to contest might not be able to contest, and we do not have independent candidacy in the country.
Well, these are anomalies. I've said it many times. Just like you said, it's a problem here in the country. But in US, there is independent candidates. Of course, we know that. But there's a lot of things. There are a lot of things in Nigeria that even when we have, like you talked about, the limits here. Do you have anybody? Do you have any agency that enforces that? Do you have? Even when you put it to INEC will tell you there is no agency, this or that. But coming back to some of the positions we have, maintained here, we have said it many times that.
Okay, Tony, I think you have to hold on. Okay. We have a commercial break to attend to now, so that once we return, we're able to wrap up and then open the phone lines for people to join this very conversation.
All right.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Udala Radio, 104.7 FM.
For too long, realtors have walked alone. No structure, no protection, no unified voice. That era ends now. Welcome to the Realtors Summit 2026, a historic gathering that will redefine real estate in Anambra and Asaba. The Anambra Asaba Realtors Association, a platform for unity, influence, and collective power. And beyond that, a Realtors Welfare Initiative built to support you when it matters most. Strengthen your career and secure your future in the industry. At this summit, you'll discover smarter ways to close and scale, multiple income channels in real estate, and strategies that move you from hustle to ownership and authority. Featuring Dr. Tony Olisa Mbeki of Udala FM, Lovelin Chinenye Nana, Property Boss, and Mr. Jude Igwebike, IT Professional. Date 2nd May 2026. Time 11 a.m. Venue 5-star Restaurant Hall, Stock Exchange, Onisha. This is not for everyone, but for realtors who are ready to rise. For inquiries, call 0803-276-0653. This summit is free, powered by Nebek Real Estate Limited.
Searching for a place to eat good food and still enjoy premium relaxation? Stanley World Agwoka got you covered. Welcome to Stanley SFF Restaurant and Operator Lounge Agwoka, where taste meets class. From hot, delicious local dishes to mouth-watering African and continental cuisines, pepper soup, grilled meat, rice, drinks, and many more. Everything is fresh and satisfying. Step into Operator Lounge, a calm, classy environment to chill, hang out, and unwind. Perfect for friends, dates, and after work relaxation. Chop well, drink well, and feel cool morning, afternoon, and night. Stanley SFF Restaurant and Operator Lounge, a haven for good food, great vibes, top security, and steady comfort. For further inquiry, call 0814-565-6920 or 0813-855-8009.
Wendy's bread, oh Wendy's, na better bread, oh Wendy's bread, oh Wendy's, oh marama, Wendy's bread, oh marama, mama papa like amo, Wendy's bread, oh kwachita nenya rike, oh Wendy's bread, Wendy's you too much you for body, better bread, you marama. Wendy's bread, oh Wendy's, oh marama, Wendy's.
You can locate us at Second Business Park, Enugu Road, beside Central Police Station, Onitsha, or St. Michael's Plaza at Tani Road, Plot 81, DDPA, DVS Road, Asaba, or contact 0701-149-1571. Wendy Bread, a taste you will always crave for.
Please listen to this important information on your good health. Do you know that many deaths nowadays are caused by ignorance on drug abuse? Do you know that many males and females now resort to the consumption of unhygienic concoctions for the treatment of various diseases? Do you know that some even take their lab results to traditional healers for interpretation? Now listen, abuse of scientific or traditional drug destroys the body system mechanism and it kills. Consumption of expired, adulterated, substandard and unpasteurized traditional herbal mixture could lead to health complications. So detoxification of the body and restoration of the functional organs is always necessary for your good health.
This message is sponsored by Anti-Drug Abuse Incorporated Headquarters, Annex Sunshine Hospital, number 4 Obanye Street, Onitsha, Anambra State, Nigeria. 08033206819.
Drug abuse is an enemy to your good health. Be warned.
Join Anti-Drug Abuse Health Education every Wednesday by 8:45 a.m. on Udala Radio 104.7 FM Onitsha.
Are you smart, confident, and ready to earn big? Do you have a passion for sales and marketing? Then listen up. Udala Radio 104.7 FM is calling on ambitious, result-driven individuals to join our team as marketers. No limits, no boundaries, just results and rewards. Work at your own pace, meet amazing clients, and grow your income. Sell it, share it, earn your way. Join Udala Radio and start today. Interested? Visit our station today at number 5 Okono Street, Onitsha, or call 0803-350-4206 or send your CV to udalaradio@gmail.com. Don't wait. Your success story starts here. Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Seriously authentic. Igbo Proverbs, words of wisdom passed down through generations. Ọtụtụ ka eji achọ ewu ojii. The search for a black goat should start before nightfall. This means that it's best to take advantage of a situation when it's favorable to you. 104.7 Udala Radio.
From the commercial city of Onitsha comes Udala Radio 104.7 FM, the voice of the region, where authentic news and entertainment meet. Udala Radio 104.7 FM, seriously authentic.
You're listening to The Polity. Get involved now.
Okay, so you are listening to the Polity on Udala Radio 4.7 FM. Our time is ticking. It's now 10:37 a.m. and we're going to see how we manage this very time to be able to give you enough room for you to share your views on what we've been able to highlight this very morning. So, Tony, we had an understanding question. Before then, there was something we are almost missing. When I was doing the highlight, I mentioned the fact that the chief of staff to Mr. President, Femi Gbajabiamila, he's in the news. No thanks to what he said at the birthday party of a member of a factional part of ADC. Talking about, I'm trying to remember his name, Leke Abejide, who represents a part of Kogi State. He made a statement which people have been reading meanings into and talk about Femi Gbajabiamila. Perhaps we hear this from him and then we wrap up and then bring in callers who are going to join to make their views known.
For a man to contest an election in a place like Kogi State, where elections are fierce, and to contest under a platform of a relatively unknown party, ADC, and to win back to back to back, it tells you who that man is. Not when he won the first time, he came on a sole ADC candidate to the House. 4 years later, he went back to Kogi. He brought somebody else for the ADC. Honorable Abejide, I know you to be a committed party man. I know you to be a fighter. I know you to be someone who does not like to be cheated. So please, my charge to you is to stay in that same ADC. Fight them. Scatter them. Hold on to your party, ADC. Do not allow them. We like what you are doing. Continue. Don't mind the former governor said that you should come and join ADC. No. Stay in ADC. Win your re-election in ADC as you will. Bring Gombe, what's his name again? Bala Gombe, bring him. We will support him. Bring him. Do the right thing. You are a fighter. Do the right thing. Nobody can come and take your party away from you. A party that you've been to for years with your sweat and your money and everything. No. Continue. Good luck in court.
Okay, so Tony, some people are trying to say that what he said was a comic relief, but on the other side, people are saying he's proving the fact that the allegations that APC is behind the crisis in the ADC is true, because the Leke Abejide he mentioned, or the person he talked about, is the one who is aligned with Nafiu Balagun. They've been working together. In fact, even today, they're supposed to be having their convention in Abuja, but from what I gathered, nobody has showed up at the venue for this very for this very convention they organized. So, Tony, a quick one to this very video or audio that is out there in the media.
Well, I understand your argument and the argument of the people, not yours in a way, but you're trying to sway different arguments. Of course, those who have made that very notion that what Gbajabiamila said is a confirmation to the fact that most of those who are fighting ADC, they were actually installed or they have been bought over by the presidency. That's one reason why things are happening the way they're happening. That's argumentum ad consequentiam. But on a more stronger reason, argumentum ad fortiori, there is elements of truth. There are elements of truth anyway. The point is, that's just the tactic Gbajabiamila is deploying, or APC may be deploying. Weaken the opposition in any way possible. That's what he told the Leke. Don't come and join APC. Stay there. That you have relations in APC. Scatter them. Fight them. You've put in your money. You've invested so much. We like what you are doing. What a better way to summarize all these brouhaha, imbroglio, these melee things we've seen so far. This better summary. What else do you want again? The facts speak for themselves. Rex ipsa loquitur. This is what we have, and this is what it is.
Okay, so let's take some calls now. 0803-221-6973 or 0803-827-6694. Good morning.
Good morning, Franklin.
Your name?
Good morning, my chief speaker, Ogaragidi, Tony Olisamdoki.
You're welcome.
Tony Olisamdoki.
It's good to have you.
The voice of Honorable, this is the mayor, Okuchukume JP, Okuloro, Chendo, Mezenek. No, can I go on?
Yes, go on.
Yes, let me first of all say that I don't know whether the leadership of Nigeria don't have conscience. Why should all these things that are happening in this country are happening the way it is going, and nobody is trying to get things okay? Why am I saying this? Look at a whole country Nigeria, like Nigeria. Boko Haram, we come out boldly now, showing about 400 and people, 400 and something people in their captive. Nothing tangible are being done about it. This Sambisa forest, what is with holding us from reclaiming? Well, this is what we are supposed to expect. Why? When the chief of army staff will come out and tell us that these are our brothers, that we have to treat them like prodigal sons. You can see that, in fact, I want to tell you the truth. With this his statement, you will see that Nigeria is not fighting these people. And when we can get a different law for different people and a different law for different people, like when you get Boko Haram or all these insurgents now, you take them to the correctional center. Then, when you get like IPOB or something like that, it is possible it will be set aside or you put them in prison. How do you expect that this kind of thing will stop? Then, names of those people that are counseling these people has been published by American people, even by Nigerian people. What has done about it? I want to tell you, look at the kind of bloodshed, even in Kuala State, in many states, and nothing is happening. I want to tell you that we don't have security in Nigeria. We are not fighting security in Nigeria. They are just using our money in budget, in security.
Thank you.
What are the chief of securities are doing? We have to kind of get that are lavishing over there. We have very intelligent army officers that if you give them command.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, our friend from Nobi. Good morning. Hello. Hello. Okay. Please let's not forget that we have a limited time for us to talk. Hello. Good morning.
Dr. Dim Tony Owena. Good morning.
Good morning. You're welcome.
Franklin Ebuka. Good morning.
Go ahead, sir. Your name?
I am Godim Ezapakego, cruising the area from Osumoro. Yes. Kudos to my dear brother Tony. You have said it all. Remain there. Scatter them. Bundle them. Don't let them breed. We know what we are doing. That is the mentality of our people who are politicians who are going to stop terrorists and terrorism in the country. During the election, we had such a comment. Grab it, take it, run away with it. That is what we are seeing today in this country. And you tell me this country is a country. We have rulers or leaders. You see, terrorists have made their demand known. Let the Nigerian politicians dole out those billions of dollars or naira and give to them. After all, there are politicians who went home with billions of dollars just because they are affiliated with the APC. What are we not talking here? Let Nigeria go and pay them. After Gumi said, the president and the rulers of this country, they know where these people are originating from. They know their handouts. They know them by their name, nomenclature, or whatever.
Okay, summarize.
What are we looking for? When we know quite well that our rulers know the whereabouts of these terrorists, let them dole out the money and give to them. Or else, 42 hours, we lose you 416 citizens, innocent citizens.
All right.
You see,
thank you. Thank you. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Franklin.
Yes, good morning. You're welcome.
Dr. Tony speaking.
You're welcome.
Very good morning to you. Chidi Chukuma joining you from work.
Okay, go on, sir.
So, up to 416 Nigerians, mostly women with children, are in a forest. And these people are making a demand right from the government, giving them the ultimatum that if they fail to meet their demand, that this Nigerian will be killed. What gives them such impetus? Is it not because of failures? This thing is a very big slap to the government of this country, and also a very shameful thing to our military, even the paramilitary, because to fight these people, even the paramilitary, if they have the political will, they are capable of fighting them, but we can see that there is no political will to fight. And even from the generals telling us that they are our brothers, the people that have invaded so many military bases and killed and looted their armory, and also killed so many high-profile military officers. And now they are occupied by telling us that they are our brothers, to treat them gently and also with a love, to show love. But these are the people that are doing it, and the people that always kill protesters. When people protest, the military will open fire on them and kill so many of them. Now they are telling us that the people who are taking different Nigeria to forest to demand ransom.
Okay,
the
summarize,
people
please.
That are killing, setting ablaze so many churches and also private buildings, chasing people away from their ancestral homes. Now the military are telling us that they are our brothers. Where are we going?
All right, so we'll take it from there. Thank you. We take it from that very question. Where are we going? Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Franklin.
Yes, good morning. You're welcome.
Hello, good morning.
You're welcome.
This is back to Logo.
Yes, go on, sir.
It was quite unfortunate that we find ourselves in this kind of situation. They are talking of 416. What of other people that have been kidnapped in different states? Nobody has talked about them. They are talking of a particular place, 416 people are kidnapped and threatened to kill if they did not give them $1 billion. This is a country we find ourselves. And the problem is that our government knows this thing and they don't want to fight. They have been holding Boko Haram, sending them again to the societies in the name of rehabilitation. And this is a problem Nigeria has been finding themselves to. And they don't want to, nobody is trying to fight this case. And everybody that is trying to say that Nigeria is fighting this case, Boko Haram and its security, is lying. Because if they want to fight, they will fight it. They can't say they have the capacity to do it. But because of the people that have been benefiting from this kind of mess, can never allow it to go through. Because they cannot. This is the very, we have found ourselves in a big mess. And we are in the hand of God. It's only God that can save us. Government cannot save us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Basil. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Franklin.
Yes, good morning. You're welcome on board.
Good morning,
You're welcome.
The voice of this man, Peter. This morning is simple. You see, I will keep on saying, if we don't have a very bad thing, all this will continue to happen. How God to please. Because look at what happened in Goodluck Jonathan. You know, Jonathan was able, it was the kind of democracy that was done there. It's just because of the attitude of the president. That's why everything goes where it is. So if you are so what even that's what you cannot talk that Nigerians do not have institutions. We have institutions. But what the problem is the people who are there. There are people of people who are there. You cannot the president arrest somebody who is corrupt like this. You now decide that there will be a change of the team. So who are being elected based on this environment, merit. Everything will not be happening. So that's why I say we will change people
the way we bring.
Okay.
I think he's
all right.
clear.
Sorry, your line wasn't too clear. I'm sorry about that. So we have to now head to our Facebook page to see the post we have there. Richard Ubia Wikage Christopher from Abatan Sube, he says, I blame the governors that are normally running to Abuja to stop insecurity. It's either they don't know what to do or they are part of insecurity. Anambra State should be a case to them. INEC setting up a forensic assessment on X account belonging to their boss is unethical and can be accepted. They can be a judge over their own case. Nothing different is expected from them other than to keep supporting their defense earlier made. Dr. Misimo Lebara from Ore says it takes intellect, self-confidence, creativity, commitment, and power to move a nation forward. Do our leaders have what it takes? We need leaders with passion, focus, and vision to move this country forward. We can't continue living in pains and penury. We are desperately in need of a leadership that will improve our lot. Zakwe Celestine says, military constitution that we operate in Nigeria is the origin of Nigeria's problems. Until something is done about it, public office holders will continue to enjoy instead of representation. Can you imagine a country where Mr. President has the right to hire and fire the INEC chairman, judiciary under him, and other agencies in Nigeria, to mention but a few? We are in mighty mess in this country, and he's asking that God save us. Master B SJ says it's obvious Nigerian politicians have no knowledge of economic stability in the country. Rather, they prefer stomach infrastructure, and he's watching from Onitsha. Ichie Billion says mason and bricklayers working at my site receive 15,000 naira, while laborers receive 10,000 naira as daily pay. 15,000 by 28 working days is 420,000. And he says, can Tony show us hospital in Nigeria that pays their early career doctors or nurses up to 400,000 per month? Eke Gonas says, APC government has shown us that our votes no longer our power. All we now have to do is to put our faith in God, believing that one day we will be liberated from the hard leadership. Austin Mogu from Fegonicha says, on Boko, rank criminals are adopting and holding 400 and something people hostage, demanding billions of dollars from federal government. And he said the other day, our Senate President, Gospel Babio, was telling Nigerians that the reason behind insecurity is because of 2027 election, that after 2027 election, everything concerning security will stop. And he's asking if he knows more that he needs to tell Nigerians regarding insecurity, whether those behind it are politicians. And Bazilugu says it's painful that political matters often receive quicker attention than issues of insecurity affecting ordinary citizens. The lives of Nigerians should always come first. At a time like this, people expect urgent action, clear communication, and real concern from the government, not silence. Protecting lives must be important than politics. And Dandola says he posted from Awado Bosi. He's asking, he says, Tony is asking if we have another government, but unfortunately, the answer is no. It is that same government that everybody now is singing and praising, even our Southeast governors. And all the well-to-do personalities, they are now in city boys. And he says, let's keep pampering bad governance. One day everybody will run out of this country for some set of people. So, Tony, these are the reactions. Maybe if you want to react to any, I will start from there.
Well, I don't have anything to say, but one thing I've said earlier before, many of us are blind followers. And I've said it many times, I'm going to say it again. That the most important thing is the fact that most of these politicians that have lined themselves up to take over from the president and order, they are the same. Without institutional change, nothing changes. None has promised us that if I become the president, I'm going to limit the powers vested in the office of Mr. President. I'm going to cut it down. Nobody. What that means that they are coming to continue from where the president stopped. And that's just that, but that's by the way. Then I want to also appeal to our governor, because this man, his name, you mentioned it when we started, and then probably said if you have time. But for the fact you mentioned it, the Chief Austin Indigwe, Mr. Governor should He has dared him so much. I've said it many times. Governor Soludo is one of the governors in the country that the country has ever produced that tolerates every form of insult, but minds the governance of the day. Is so much focus on the governance of the day. But I'm asking him, urging him, the impersonation. Of course, there has been white paper where the government clarified that the authentic king in that community, in the kingdom, Oka, is Igwe Gibson Wos, and he's still alive. He should be arrested for impersonation and false representation of office, breach of public order and peace, and disobedience to a lawful order coming from the government. We know the governor is so magnanimous in most things. We know very well he's a Democrat. Yes, the governor is a Democrat. He has shown that, he has proven that in his attitude, his conduct. That's why anybody can write anything against him, he will just leave you. But he should do something about the Austin in the go of a person. Of course, he has started doing something, which we've seen. He wants to take it according to the provisions of the law. He can't be announcing him, are you the Igwe? That is impersonation.
Maybe we'll put out this very question and leave.
That's impersonation.
We're going to answer this very question because there was an argument coming from the part of Ndigwe that for the fact that the case has been in the court, there was no need for government to have intervened.
Okay.
The way it did.
But the government cannot, or it means that the government cannot intervene if his actions are likely to bring public breach of peace. Government will always intervene, even if the matter is in court. But if it is likely to cause breach of peace order, government comes in. And that's exactly why government has come into this case.
All right, so on that very note, we end today's conversation. And we thank every one of you for joining. Stay with us because we have other things lined up for today. At 11 is going to be music. By 12 is going to be news, and 12:30 is going to be Cherry Box and other programs continue. Thank you for listening. My name is Franklin Bika. Good morning.
A city of movement.